So, as I said, this is a prime example of a question where the difficulty of the question is actually the words. Yeah. All right? Understanding what's going on. You need to take a few moments really to read the question properly and really think, visualize what is going on. Otherwise, you just see a load of words and it's like, I'm struggling, Dash, aren't I? Yep, struggling to deal with the people that are doing their own thing. So, what we've got to do is we've got to break this down to the situation. So we've got Noah's family has a tradition. So along with his mother, father, and sister. Right? So what we should gain from this already is that we have 4 family members. There's 4 family members, 4 people. Yeah? That's important. So if we imagine what's going on, imagine 4 people sat around a table. Did you all did you visualize what's going on? So I'm sat there with these 3 squeaky ones, okay? I take a grape, I make a wish. Lead squeak takes a second grape, he takes one. Then the next one. And once we've been 1 round through, it's my go again. How many grapes have been eaten? 4. And it says each family member can make 12 wishes, which must mean that we have 12 grapes times 4 people is 48 grapes. Okay? So we've got that. Now, that is a very important number because that is the basis of all the other questions. All right? So at what point will half the grapes? Well, half the grapes is 24 out of the 48 grapes. So then what we have to do is say, well, how many goes round will that make? So basically we're saying, how many times do we go around our 4 to make 24? So we do 24 divided by 4 gets 6 rounds have happened. Okay, so you've all got that, yeah? At what point will quarter? Well, we can write that as well. So 1/4 will be how many out of 48? Yeah.
It will be 48 divided by 4.
48 divided by 4, that's how you find a quarter, which is 12. And 12, let's do 12 divided by 4 is 3 rounds. Okay, so we've got 3 rounds for that. Dash.
Can you also do 24?
Yes, I think Mike said the same thing. We could also use question B to answer this, couldn't we? Like Sophie said as well, I think, or was it Cora? Cora said, a quarter is half of a half, yeah, which was a good piece of knowledge to use. The only reason I've not done that is because I want to focus on this number, like I said, the 48. And the reason is because for part D, okay, we kind of need to use that and say, right, at what point will 9/16? So 9/16, we'll say how many out of the 48 have been eaten. And how do I know? Well, we know that if I eat 9 out of 16, how many times can I take 16 out of 48? It's 3. So if I times that by 3, I get 48. So this can happen 3 times. Which means if I times this one by 3 as well, that means if that carries on, I will have eaten 27 out of the 48. Now, the reason why this is starting to get to be a slightly harder question is because it's like, oh, but that doesn't work because, stay focused, stay focused, sit, chair properly. I could Use your name, Bella.
Because 27 isn't like the end of a round. The round is still
Good.
going.
Could you use really correct vocabulary here? 27 is not a.
It's not.
You're right. It's not the end of a round because it's not a.
Even number.
It is a whole number, definitely a whole number. Multiple of 4. Yeah. Why is it not? Why is not being a multiple of 4 an issue? Because yeah, each round is 4, so all the multiples of 4 are the end of the round. So when would the end of a round be? In one more grape. So 28, okay, out of 48 would be how many rounds? 7. That would be 7 rounds. But we've only got 27. So this would be 6 rounds
And 9 3/4.
with 1 person left to go. Alright? And we're in a real life situation, so we can just write that. It's 6 rounds with 1 person left to go.
It's criterion D. And it's not a question.
Is that?
I have a question.
Yes.
Can you say like third person on round 6?
Yep. Round 6, 3 people have gone. That's fine.
Yeah, 3 over 4.
Yep.
This whole thing is criterion.
Oh yeah, exactly. That's what it's all like. Well, it's got a mix of. It is actually still technically criterion A because it's just skills and knowledge. In criterion D, we have to select our maths to solve a problem, and we haven't really had to do that. Yeah. Now we've got to be careful. Not all questions set in a real life scenario is a criterion D question. Because are we talking accuracy here? No. Fractions is just, are we talking about does our answer make sense?
Yes.
Ish, we have to take that into consideration. Yeah, justifying our answers, definitely. Right, finally, after 7 rounds, what fraction of the grapes have been eaten? Well, we've already done that, which is 28 out of 48. Okay, so 28 out of 48 is 7 rounds. But can we give that in a different fraction?
Yeah.
Go for it.
7 out of 12.
7 out of 12. Okay, is also 7 rounds, isn't it? Do you notice how it's the number of rounds out of 12? Because 12
It's 3 rounds. Wait. Oh, wait.
does that make sense?
Yeah.
When only 2 grapes are left, what fraction of the grapes have been eaten?
It's 11 and 2 of
Well, should we just do it as 46 out of... That's why I wanted to do the 48 all the time, guys. It's because it's so simple. And then we can, alright, simplify or try, but 46 out of 48, only 2 grapes are left. That means 46 have been eaten. Okay? So nice. So it's basing it all around this number and then simplifying it afterwards if we want to or need to. Well, yeah, exactly. If there are only 2 left, we know that's 11 rounds happens, and there's 2 people left. How do we know? Because we knew there was 12 rounds in total.
We're gonna have when we have an assessment on fractions, what criteria is the assessment gonna be?
So, I am imagining, I need to remember, but most of this is criterion A, potentially criterion C. Alright? Now, I'm just want to, because I'm aware of what a couple of people said, I know we've got 5 minutes. Now, this diagram came up online, when I asked you to do a fraction thing, yeah? With the clicking the equivalent fractions diagrams?
Yes.
Alright, so here is, let's talk about that piece of work that some people have just said I didn't understand and we weren't allowed to discuss it. Alright? Now the question was, can you express our currency as a fraction diagram?
Yeah.
So, what I was hoping that you would achieve is by saying this bar would have been a $1, okay? What comes next in our finances? We don't have one,
Yeah, we do.
We have a
Oh, we did.
but we don't. So, this is about a real world scenario. So, the next bar has to represent the next available coin, which is, so we should have split it, and we can have 0.25, or we could have had 25 cents. I don't know how we write that. Okay? Now, do we have less than 25? What's the next below that? Tens. Yeah? We do have some tens. So, the next bar down for the next smallest coin. So we have, I'm not doing this very well, but you get the idea, yeah? So this would have been, how many of them? 10. So 10 cents, 10 cents, and then what have we got after 10 cents? 5s and 1s. So this is what your diagram would have looked like for the currency. That's all it was asking you about. Now, in the UK, we have slightly different because we have a pound, 50 pence. We do have 25, 10, 5, 2, and 1. We have all of those. Yeah, we have 2s. They're big. So,
Didn't we used to have like skillets? They had
shillings.
Yeah, shillings.
That's way before my time. I've not even. Actually, the one thing I do remember when I was maybe about your age, there was still such a thing as a half a pence coin. Half a pence. Used to be able to buy some sweets.
Oh
with
yeah, I
half
have
a
some
pence.
American dollars.
So anyway, for those of you that didn't understand that diagram, that's what it was about. It was looking at what coins we have in Bermuda. Alright? Basing everything on the $1 coin and how the other ones are the fractions of it. Okay?
I was gonna say, for my diagram, I drew the coins. I drew one coin and then I drew two smaller coins.
Right. Well, the idea though is to show the fractions, like in that kind of
Yeah,
diagram.
I did. Like I drew the, and then I put